What is good, everybody? This is the original, the OG roundtable. That's right, the original. We're here with you on a Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Well, we should have started at 6:30 p.m., but my apologies. It's always my fault. I'm the girl on the panel right now, so of course it's my fault, right? But nonetheless, we're here with you. We got some stuff to talk about. We've got some fun things to share, and let's just kick this off and get this started because we missed you guys. It's been a couple weeks, and you know what? We're excited to be here. So thank you to everyone who's already in the casa, who has hit the like, who has shared. Good to see you, Spanx. We got Love Grace in the house. We got Sea Dog. And you know what? We have a special guest tonight. So I'm just going to go in order of how it's lined up down here. Now we got a secret guy coming in, and we're going to see how this turns out. For some reason, he's got secrets. I got to see who this guy is right here. Hang tight. Let's see. Here he comes. Who's that?
Hey, what's up, Jen?
Hey,
Hey.
it's looking a little familiar back there behind you.
Yeah, we're back. We're back with it. We're back with it for a little bit. Just some minor stuff until the actual equipment gets connected. But yeah,
Right.
we're back at it. We're back at it. It's good to be on here. It's good to be on here. It's good to see you
Yeah.
guys as well.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Denise. She's not feeling well tonight, so
Hey,
prayers
hey,
up. She
thanks
feels
for doing
better, and we'll see her next week after next. But let's bring in our special guest. We have the one and only blessing us with his presence. Let's bring in Big D. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Fred, what's up, Fred?
it.
What's up,
Good,
Fred?
man.
Hello,
Good.
Jen. Hello, Jen. Thanks for having me on the board. Shout out to Convicted Hearts, man. Big shout out.
Thank you, thank you. Shout out to you, and we appreciate you being on. It's a blessing, and this is going to be a good
That's
show. We've
right.
got a
That's
lot to
right.
talk about and share.
Seven.
So,
Salud.
gosh, it's been a
Yeah.
minute. Like we started the show every week in the beginning. You know what I mean? That's how the roundtable was, and then we decided to do every other week, just so everybody could kind of focus on, our personal projects as well as the show. So here we are. Let's, you know what I mean? Some stories. And what was that, Fred? Did you say something?
No, I didn't say
Oh,
nothing. I hit it, but I didn't say it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I heard something cracking in, but let's just go ahead and get caught up on what's been going on the last couple of weeks. Big D, let's start out with you. You're our special guest tonight. So what's
Okay.
up? You?
Oh, nothing much. Last weekend I was in Laughlin again. We're out there just kicking back, hanging out by the river and the lake. It's been hot. It's been hot over here where I'm at right now. It's at west. That time of the weather, seasons change. So it's just like, we could talk about it spiritually, financially, physically. Things just change all the time. So right now we're in a good change. Right now we're ready for the winter, and just kicking back. That's it. Just going out, spending time with the family, chilling, just looking at what's going on in the news. It's crazy too, man.
I know, I know. Lots going on. You're so right with that. Like seasons change as far as weather, but you are spot on when you say spiritually and every other way seasons change because I think we're all feeling that for
Right,
sure.
right.
What about you, Fred? What you got going on the last couple weeks?
Uh, what did I? Well, a whole bunch of stuff that. Oh man, well, as
Share.
you can see, I had to put all this stuff back up. It wasn't just there, right? So had that stuff
Okay.
going on. Had to deal with again with the appointments and so on and so forth. But everything's getting straightened out. Everything's getting straightened out. It's been one headache after another. But hey, you know what? We keep on moving. Good things are
Yeah.
coming. Hey, as Big B said, man, good things are coming, and we're just moving forward with stuff, man. Just roll with it,
That's right. Yeah.
Don't sit and dwell on the bad stuff. Hey, roll with the good stuff, man. Eventually, it's all gonna pass. You know.
That's right.
And why worry about it? Because eventually, and not in a negative way, but why worry about it if it's all gonna pass, and then eventually we will pass too. So live your life, man. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, that's one
And
way
that's
to look
that's
at
that's good that you say that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's good that you say that the panel because good things are going to come. The next thing is just to move on to the next thing. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop for anything that's happening. Just trust in what you trust in. Pray to you pray to, and it'll take care of you. Just keep doing. Don't
Yeah,
stop because things are going crazy. You got to keep going forward.
yeah, yeah. Well,
this.
yeah, the way I see it too, it's like sometimes in a bad situation, right? They'll be like, "Do you have any questions?" I go, "No." They go, "You don't." If they're going to change the outcome, if it's going to change, if it's not going to change the outcome, I don't have any questions. I mean,
Right.
that's just the bottom line.
What's that
With
old saying? If why fix it if it ain't broken?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And if it's broken and they're trying to fix it or fix it their way, hey, man, God be with them. I'm rolling my way and that's it. That's it.
A lot of times, adjustments are a change of love, or there's a form of love. When it comes to changing adjustments. Sometimes a lot of people display even discipline, and discipline's a form of love. You show characters, you care about the situation. Right now, we care about the situation. There just has to be a lot of discipline that's behind it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's true.
that is very true. And sometimes it could be a blessing in disguise. You tend to just kind of look back on things and be like, wow, wow. And then you start thinking, man, why did I put up with that? Or why did I do that? It brings clarity, peace. And that's the most beautiful thing, man. That's the most beautiful thing.
Let's go. That's right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
That's true. That's what's up. Yeah, I
yeah,
think the last couple weeks for me was, just a whole bunch of still kind of crazy stuff. I think I have mentioned a little bit. We got my mom moving. Much love, Noel. Good to see
yeah.
you guys. So basically, I'm functioning as kind of like an only child out here because my brother's incarcerated. So the majority of what's going on is falling on me. And I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in a thank God I've
Right.
been given the strength and peace of mind to be there for my mom and help her, carry whatever needs to be carried. So I'm grateful for that. Fred, I know we've talked about that too. You understand. And
Yeah.
you know what? We do what we can for our family and our parents. And I just feel like so much has been trying. You know how it is. The enemy operates like he tries to come at you when you're down. My mom's going through a lot. She just lost her husband right now.
Wow.
And there's people that you would not expect to come at you sideways, but sadly, death brings out the
It's
worst.
unfortunate. Yeah, it's very unfortunate because I have experienced a lot of death this last month. Family members, people get old. Nothing tragic. Just people have addictions. They get old. So a lot of my family members, drunk driving. We experience a lot. So I've been going to funerals, not just one. I was over there. Shout out to Brenda Love. I was at her house and I got a call out. Another member has passed. I was like, no way, this is a joke, right? But you never know when you can come and go. And so one of my good friends told me, live life like it's your last, and you have to.
Yeah.
You got to remember who supports you, who's there with you. And if you remember those, it builds strength, capability, it builds responsibility because they're responsible, so you're able to be responsible as well.
Yes, I
Very true.
agree with that completely. It's true. You never know. So you know what I mean. That's another thing for myself. I used to be like a lot more harsh when it came to my temper, and I've worked on that a lot. I feel like I don't want my last words with anyone. You know what I mean? To be those of anger. So I'm always trying to reel that in and work on, whether I part of
And people
conversation.
live, and not to cut you off, but people live like that. Like, you go to work and people come in all pissed off. You're like, what are you mad about? Like, geez, come in all happy, come joyful. They're coming out, oh, why this, why that, always something to complain. Like, don't get my vibes, negative. Keep my vibes above level. And that's where a lot of things, God speaks to me. Like, pray for that guy. Like, she needs a lot of prayer. He needs a lot of prayer. Like, I thought I needed it, but
And you know what, Jen? You know what, Jen? I was going to tell you too. Do not let the people because people will always say, "Oh, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should be doing it like this."
Yeah.
You know what? Those people are no help whatsoever. If they really, really felt that passionate about it, they'd step in and help you do the stuff and say, "Hey, check it out. What can I help you with? Let's do this." No, but they sit on the sidelines and complain. "Oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. Oh, you were like this. Oh, you were mean," or whatever situation. They want to pick it up. They are not a help. Don't eliminate all of that. They're just like, get them out of the way. They're irrelevant, and I mean that in general. I'm not, jumping in there.
Absolutely.
I don't, yeah, I'm like, hey, dude, like, what's up? I'm like, what the hell?
Right? I agree. I get a lot of that too. I think we all do. I mean, the three of us right here and a lot of the people on, Love Grace, we've got people on here who are creators as well. And that's something we experience. Not everybody, who's a fellow creator is out there to encourage us and lift us up. Some of them are looking at us up, I got to keep you right here. So I feel, I'm a little higher, but we're not like that. So let's see. Yeah. Here she is. And we got Cuba family. Yes, I have a
shout out to Denise Castillo. She lost her cousin.
Wow.
Sorry, Denise.
Oh no.
Wow. Prayers, yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought you were just not feeling well, sis. God bless.
Wow.
Prayers up.
Yeah, shout out to her and her husband Melvin. He's a homie.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's a cool dude, man.
I'm sorry, people. I just know Melvin real good. I spend a lot of time with him. So. We have a good relationship. I have a good relationship with Denise. I've been at a lot of places, a lot of events with her and her husband. So, I know she's a real one, man. Shout out to her and her family.
No, definitely. I could talk to Melvin for hours on the phone. This man, cool dude.
That's what you guys. I hear you guys all saying that, so I'm like that. It's got to be true because all of you guys have a good correspondence and conversation. So that's what's up. You know what I mean?
Right.
To have a partner that is.
And as I mentioned, you guys got to understand. I have spent quality time with her and her husband. I actually met them and we actually chilled. Went to dinners, went to events, went to gatherings, and we support other people along as we go too. If you come. If not, then hey, it's on you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
You only live life once, man. I will go miles, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. How do you deal with that? Because I'm trying to lift each other up with this. So let's get a little positivity as far as Fred, you mentioned it. Like some people try to sort of, I don't know, maybe lessen our value as far as when we do something or make us feel like we didn't do something as good as they thought or should have or could have done. How do you guys handle that when you feel like somebody's giving you kind of some shade or like a backhanded compliment?
You know what? It really depends on the situation. For the most part, though, I'll just let it roll. I'll let it roll because if it makes them feel better, but that's not truly a fact. I had this one guy that was living in my house. And then somebody went and told him, they said, oh, you live in a friend's house. And he this is the kind of person he is. I'm not that kind of person, but he says, no. He goes, Fred's right here. And then I'm like, right here. I go, yeah, but you're living in my house. It's just like,
yeah, that's
it's like, come on, cut it off, bro. Like, what it is that, and I don't want to say just like that because people tend to throw that real loose nowadays. But it's kind of a narcissistic mind frame, where they just got to feel better about themselves. Like, oh, see, I want to do this and that. I mean, look at it. Even being here as creators, we got people that come in either in the comments or they tell, oh, you should have did this. You should have did that.
Yeah.
You should have said like this. It's like, dude, like, it just like holds no water. I've even made mistakes on some of them. Like on the last content I put up, I said, backslash instead of backlash, But hey, man, just let it go. It technically is like a lie, Just let it go, dude. It's like whatever. I made a mistake. So what? Big deal, But people want to pinpoint everything. Everybody wants everything perfect, and I think we live in that world. So, in answer to your question, Jen, I don't pay any mind because
that's smart.
If you start paying mind to those people or those type of people, you'll go crazy. I have a lowrider mini truck. And so, oh, you should have left it the color it was. Oh, this is a better color. Oh, you should have painted it this color. Oh, you should have got these kind of ribbons. It's like, you know what? I get what I want because I pay for it. That's it. End of story. You go ahead and buy yours and you do what you want to do to it. And that's it. If I sit there and start listening to everybody else have a car with a bunch of different colors on it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And
right?
four different kind of rims with them different spare tires. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. A lot of times, I know a lot of times people they anticipate what they want you to do and all that and everything, but their security is not really for you. You have to have
Yeah.
that positivity, that security where within your first, I do it with myself. I'm secure about myself. I feel a confidence within myself. The measurements I do, you have to believe in yourself first. Before you do anything, believe in yourself first. You know,
Yeah,
if I believe if I go out and I have a low rider and it looks as good, then hey, it looks good.
I
And then
like
come
Yeah.
that.
around, that's what you expose. Hey, I do that. I look good at this. I do that. I do this. Well, you should have did it like this. You should have, would have, but did it. I didn't. You know, it should have,
Right.
would have. But
Exactly.
I take
Exactly.
responsibility within myself. I do within myself. So whether you can like it or you can hate it, you know, that's up to you. The decision really falls on you. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't make this. Don't make the decision on me. Make it on with upon yourself. You know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And
This is
I
why
feel like
actually,
that's what makes the world go round. Like it would be
That's
so
pretty
boring
much.
if everybody did things
no,
exactly the same or looked exactly the same or made their stuff look exactly
Yeah,
the
pretty much. You know,
yeah,
a lot of individuals they copy each other. You know, they see they're
for
doing it
real.
too. There's always this
exactly.
different versions of things that are happening. You know, just like
Mhm.
human beings, we're all different by fingerprints. You know, God made us different.
Yeah.
You know, we all have different. You know, some people are different, and a lot of us are similar. You know, that's what's cool. It depends who's educating, who's counseling you, who's
Mhm.
monitoring, who's managing you. That's what it comes down to. Manage me right,
Yeah.
because people I trip out a lot of times. You know, we go people coming all pissed off. They coming out mad. They coming like, why you like that for? They have a tendency like, you know, I understand the world's crazy right now, but still come with all negativity, come with a positive attitude. Don't come with a negative attitude.
Right.
Exactly.
Man, that
Exactly.
means so much to me because even when you mentioned that earlier about how when somebody comes into the environment, maybe wherever you're at, work, home, wherever, and they're maybe in a bad mood or their energy or the way they're speaking affects you. I'm really sensitive to that. Like I pick up on and used to say I hate that about myself, but I'm trying to change the narrative in my mind and
Right,
say,
right,
you know what? I don't hate that about myself. I'm aware that I pick
right,
up
Yeah.
right.
what's going on around me, and I'm careful and I'm selective about where I have my presence at and who I have
Right,
around
because you don't have to be like certain people. Just because they come in with a negativity doesn't mean you have to be like that too. You could change it right there and then. That's where
Yeah.
you have the policy and the things to be. Hey, I don't want to be like that. I could be myself, which is myself. I'm not like that. I don't judge that. If you're like that, I don't choose to be hang around with you because I'm all about positivity, not negativity. There's so much positive negativity happening right now. We need that
Yeah.
positivity.
I know
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. There's
And
my
you know
beautiful
what? You know
Darlene.
what's another thing? Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Darlene, she always has a positive word for me. I just
Hello,
relate
darling.
to
Yeah.
her and love Grace.
Shout
And
out to everybody. Shout out to everybody
yeah,
in the
you
chat right
guys,
now. Shout out to my
yeah, we
wife,
got
man.
some
Shout out to everybody.
amazing
Oh,
people
sorry. Yeah.
in
That's
here.
good, man.
So
Oh,
that's right. We
hey,
love you guys.
no,
Thank you,
and
guys. Thank you.
you know what? The thing about it too, though, is to always have always do things with good intent. That's
Yes.
really coming
Always.
from your heart,
That's all it
without
takes. Yeah. That's all it
yeah,
takes. Yeah.
without saying, oh, if I do this good deed, it's gonna come back to me. No, no, no. It's gotta come from here. It can't
Yeah.
come from up
Have
here.
to.
And,
Yeah.
oh,
Pretty much.
it's gotta come from here. Enable for it for it, enable if like they say, if you want it to come back or whatever, and you don't do it for those reasons. You know,
Right.
it's gotta be from here. It's
You
gotta
have to
be
have good
good.
intentions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's got to
Mhm.
be good intent. And you know what? Good intentions, even though you go through the mud and back,
Yeah,
you know.
it's true because I always look at the form of good intentions, like the Bible says, like love your children. Discipline is a form of love sometimes.
Man, I
You know, I
know.
Yeah,
don't tolerate that. You know, I don't tolerate that. You know, I have to discipline myself. You know, I don't come at it like that. I'm my first critic. I'm my own critic. You know, I like,
yeah,
hey, I do this. You know, because how I treat others, it tells everything what's going on. Not to say I
Mhm.
treat love and grace, but example, I have a wife. You know, I'm married to. She
yeah,
known me all these years, so I haven't been perfect all these years. But she'll tell me, hey, you're a little hard here, you're a little hard there. And then from
Right.
those expectations, you know, I had to correct myself and check myself, and like, okay, I see where it's coming from. It's a
yeah,
form of love. She's not putting me down or ridiculing me or threatening me. It's a form of love. Like, hey, can you be
Yeah.
a little bit more of this? Can you be a little bit more of that? Okay. Can you be more supportive? All right. So, you know, it's better to
yeah.
Yeah.
support people than to be negative about, you know, because negative, there's all kinds of that shit happening.
Right.
Oh,
And when you
wow.
really love someone, you want them to be the best version of their self. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So you're saying
exactly.
that in love. You're not saying it to
Exactly.
like put them down. You're like, hey, I feel like if you did this or that, or maybe said it this way, you're gonna be even greater. You know what I mean? So I can
You know,
appreciate that.
you know what? Sometimes, and I will say it, it doesn't reciprocate. Is that the word I'm looking for? It doesn't reciprocate.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm trying to say here. Because
Hmm.
the thing about it is like like Big D saying, right? You can do something for somebody and give them everything, and it may not be. Let's put it this way. It may be, and I'm going to use it as an example. It might be a wooden ball, right?
Hmm.
But they want a crystal ball. But you're
Yeah.
giving them what you can, and you're giving them everything. That wooden ball or whatever is your everything. And you're trying to give it to them, right? And sometimes it's not appreciated. That's automatic. One thing I've learned in life, that's automatically you're with the wrong person.
Yeah.
You're,
Right,
you're
it's
with the
true.
wrong person.
That's
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
true. That
cool.
does
I like that.
happen. Yeah, that does happen. Some people, and I guess that's something we have to learn in life. It's a sad experience to learn and go through, but sometimes what we do will, in other people's eyes, never be enough for them. And that's where we have to learn to separate ourselves from, you know what? I I know I did my best and I gave all I could. And if that wasn't enough for you, or you feel it wasn't good enough for you,
I'm gone.
Yeah.
sorry,
You know what? And you know, it goes back again. And I'm sorry, I keep going. I keep going. It's like I sound like a broken record. Again, it's like what Big D says. Okay, we're not perfect. You
Right.
know, yeah. Do we make mistakes? Yeah, I've made mistakes too. I made some bad mistakes. But then as time goes on, you fix those things. You fix those things,
Right.
and sometimes it's just not enough. It's not good enough. It's whatever it is. And I think time is a very, very, very important thing. Time and attention to somebody you're with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, positivity and doing things with the right intent, with a good intention in your heart. I mean,
Right.
I don't care if you want to steak dinner and I bring you In-N-Out Burger. I'm trying to feed you here. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just it's the gesture, not the actual, the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I can definitely relate to that. I feel like, everything, we're all individuals, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you guys have heard the term love language. You know what I mean? Everybody has a different love language. For myself, it's like acts of service, or I love to cook for people I love, or
hmm,
cater to them, do something
Right.
kind.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Um, so that's
Pretty much,
just
a lot of it's what we do. How you present
yeah,
yourself.
yes,
It's like that's how you build a relation. Like, oh, you like this, you like this, you like that. You hear this, you hear that. You work
mhm,
this, you work that. Oh, you've done this before. So a lot of people, we have intended relationships, and we build
yes,
off them. Like, okay, I've done
yeah,
that too. I know that person. I heard that story before. So we just collaborate, and you put your two thoughts in. That's all we're doing. Hey Fred, you're doing what you're doing. Hey, your truck, and all that. Hey, feed me. Keep rocking it, homie.
yeah,
That's it. I'm supporting him because Fred's a cool dude. Because I know him personally. I see him. I don't know him personally, but I enough for me to say that that's a good guy right there.
yes,
Hey,
Like,
thank you, buddy.
and that's what I like, because he's a believer, I'm a believer, so we have
yes,
Yeah,
some things in common. He likes lowriders, I
yeah,
like lowriders. He likes music, I like music. So
right.
you
yeah.
try to find, he looks beautiful, I look beautiful. Like,
Thank
we
you.
just,
Thank you. I
There you
appreciate
guys go. Right, right.
how much
we just grow up, like, you have to have some kind of relationship that's behind it so we can understand it. Because if there's no relationship behind it, I don't understand it, and I don't want to be part of it.
Right. I
You know what?
know. I know.
And when I would be driving away sometimes in my truck, I take the convertible top off. That's convertible, hard top convertible. Be
Yeah.
driving and be like, your truck sucks. And I'll be like, yeah, but I'm leaving with the girl. Anyways, later. No, first.
Right.
Some guys think like that, some guys don't.
Uh,
But
Anyway,
it
it
is.
is what it is. Do what you gotta do. Find that love, homie. Find that love. But that's how I look for love. I look for love and dignities out of respect. They have to be. It has to be substantial to mine. My qualities, which I bring. I have qualities. I'm pretty sure everybody here has qualities in their beliefs and their thoughts, what they like, what they don't like. It's like that with food. I don't like onions with my food. Like, all
And
right,
that's okay, right? Like if you don't
it's
like
okay. I'm
food,
not gonna die off of that.
right?
I like
Exactly.
pineapple. I like pineapple on my pizza. My bad. Like,
And so, hey, that's
you know,
one thing that
I'm
some
sorry.
people crazy over. They're like,
Right, and yeah,
wow.
and those that could start a controversial. That could start a fight. You know, people display
Yeah.
that they're displaying the wrong thing. They put it on the picture, the video camera. Like they're fighting because they don't like pineapple. Are you serious? Like, I don't need to watch this crap. You know, I need I like pineapple. I love pineapple.
I know, it's true. So
Yeah.
how do you, Big D, like you're someone who always has a word, you know what I mean? And you try to, I notice you try to bring it around and make it positive, but how do you manage and how do you deal with conversations when we are sort of in a climate where there's a lot of tension in the world and in our community?
With me, it's real easy. It's just the understanding. You know, people could call me and say this, I'll die for you. Like, really? Like, go die for your own family. So it has to be some standard. I'm real easy terms. So I get to understand easy because people say things out of ordinary, you know, like, okay. But then again, I know where they're coming from because some people's status are that measurement. So you got to understand their status, their capability. When somebody says they'll love you and this and that, like, hey, then that means they love you. If somebody says that they're willing to do this for you, then that means, okay, they're willing to do that for you. If they say they love your truck, you know, they love your truck. They say they love you as who you are. They love you as who you are. So it's the same thing. What you bring to them, and if they bring it back to you, that's what I go based on. You know, so if you're being supportive, then I could be supportive too. If you're being negative, then I could be negative too. So I go with what you bring me, basically. Everybody that's our Love Grace knows she goes out there. That's why I'm able to pinpoint stuff. I'm able to see stuff. I can see stuff happening like 2-3 days. Everybody says they got to go to prison to in order to understand discernment. No, you just serve them the God, you know, sir, a high power, and he'll teach you by himself. He'll teach you the easy ropes, and the ropes are to understand. And the ropes are to understand people. That's it. What they do, what they like, what they don't like. Everybody has shortcomings. I'm not perfect. Like I said, so it's easier to see. It's easy to see when you're at fault. When somebody's drinking, like, hey, I drank before, so I know he has a shortcoming. You know, he did drugs. I've done drugs before. Okay, I know he has a shortcoming. So I go based off of not the shortcoming to judge them, but to say I have to judge them for a certain point because I understand that. So it makes me to realize with them where they're understand where they're coming from.
So you kind of meet people where they're at.
Where they're at. That's it. That's it. Simple.
I get that. All right, I get that. Yeah.
I tend to do the same thing. Sometimes people say, "Hey, why are you watching that, man? That guy, this and this and this and that, or whatever." No, I just, sometimes just seeing somebody else's perspective. I mean, I don't have to agree to it or agree with it, but I can understand where they're coming from, and that's on them, you know. Yeah. But you can't really even. And I won't get into that. I had a situation one time happen where I was so bothered by it. Like I was thinking, man, like I wanted to fight this guy, you know, because he was just falsely accusing me of something, you know, that well, let me just write, since I already said, I think I've said it on here before already, but I was in Best Buy, but in the city of Gilroy, which is far from us, and, you know, I've been to different Best Buys, and they're all identical, you know, the ones I've been to. So I had to go to the restroom, and I walked in. I'm on the phone. I'm not paying attention. That's my fault, you know. And I go in, and I go walk into the restroom, and I looked, and I said, "What the heck? It's all stones." You know, I was like, "What is it? You know, gender friendly kind of thing." I was like, "Okay," and then I was like, "Wait." And I stepped out. I ended up going into the women's restroom. So this guy wanted to fight me for this, you know. He was waiting for my wife's there, you know, today, you know, I apologize, I made a mistake. Mm-hmm. I went to the men's restroom where I had to go, you know, and I could hear him. I could hear her outside as I'm washing my hands. And she said, "Well, I heard somebody go in there." She goes, "But he didn't do anything. He walked out, like, you know." And then he was still complaining, right? So when I come out, he's like, really irritated, right? And I told him, "Hey, man, I told you it was a mistake, bro. Like, what's up? Like, well, what do you want to do with it?" You know, I was upset. I was really, it even bothered me the next day at work. I felt like I should have just said, "Hey, you know, let's just go outside, bro, and take care of this," you know. Not to say I was going to win, who knows, but I wanted to get something out of it.
Sometimes things are like that, how they present themselves, you know what I mean? That's why I said you got to be ready in and out of season. You always got to be ready, Stan, because sometimes the situation could cut them down, whereas like you might need that, you know, you might need to be physical, not to promote it, because that's all you see. Like a lot of violence. Nobody knows how to be substantial and be cool about it. Like, hey, brother, what
Yeah.
you made an accident? Okay, everybody wants division. They want hate. They want to fight right now. They want to where's that coming from? Like no, where's the calmness, the peace, the healing, the comfort.
Exactly.
I look for the positive stuff. You come at because I could be negative because I wasn't once negative before. If you tell me I'm gonna go rob somebody, I'll go with you because I've done it before.
Yeah. When, I ended up going and telling the manager, said, "Hey, listen, I walked into the women's restroom by accident, bro. That's my fault. I admitted to my wrongdoing. I walked away from the situation. So it was bothering me. The next day, my boss at work told me, "Hey, man, do you ever stop and think maybe he went through a tragic thing in his life, and that's why it really irritates him?" And it really made me understand, like, whoa, wait a minute, dude. Like, I need to step out of my, I need to stop being selfish and look at it from his angle to maybe something in his life, and that's what irritated him, So,
okay, well, that was some good advice then, because, but what do you think it was? Like, of course, I feel like I know what it would be for me if, in that situation that would have got me so worked up. But do you feel like it was him falsely accusing you, or you know what I mean, of your intention, or like what was?
probably. I told him more than once. I want to say at least 6-7 times that it was a mistake. And it started off to, hey, bro, sorry, it's a mistake. Hey, bro, it's a mistake. Hey, look, bro, I told you. That kind of, and then it just started to kind of escalate. But he walked away, and I walked away too, and I was like, well, whatever. And but I mean, if I could have another chance, or I mean, I won't know if I see him, but I would actually apologize to that man. I would really apologize to him and be like, hey, you know what, man? Like I'm not saying that.
You know what? Not to cut you off, Fred, but sometimes those things kind of work. They work. But I accident this. You explain to them, they understand. A lot of people understand. Right now, people don't understand because of bull crap that's happening. So when bull crap happens, they don't understand. When you understand the bull crap, then it's more like okay, and the other person could be apologetic to it because I experienced that. I came out of that. I done that. So it's just like I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. Keep doing what you're doing. Let the day go on. That's what we got. That's where I live. Let the day go on. I don't got time for that crap.
That's what it is, man. I just feel like it's it could have went somewhere it shouldn't have gone. I mean, it could have gotten to that. I mean, imagine, like, what the heck? Like, are you serious? 2 people got hurt, or somebody got really hurt or worse over a mistake, a legitimate mistake.
Innocent mistake. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Crazy.
So I pay more attention to things than I even if I'm on the phone, it's like, look, dude, pay attention to where you're walking into, It's like,
what you're trying to spread out is good advice, a good exampleship. We try to do that, me and the wifey, we go here, we go there. Hey, follow us, we cook, we do that. That's a good exampleship. Always be a good role model, never be a negative role model, because sometimes, people are pronounced to that. And negativity is like in their backyard. Like, what the freak? That's why I trip out. Like, you're going to come to work. You're going to come to me like this. You have a bad attitude. Then you make my day call crappy. Like, nah, it ain't going to happen like that. Sometimes as adults, we got to prevent certain things, because if we take that, we could take it to our home, and then it expands in there, and then it's happening here, then it's happening there. It's like, I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
And sometimes, man, you got to just handle things accordingly, even if
you have to. Sometimes it could be physically. It could be.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean,
unfortunately,
I got into a situation last week. I think it was the week before or something. To get home. I mean that.
Yeah, and it happens. I come to the realistic. If it happened before, it could happen again.
Yeah,
it's true.
I get really irritated with this guy. He came to my house, and I caught him on the camera. He goes into my backyard and starts stealing avocado out of the tree. I have an avocado tree. He started stealing a bunch of avocado. I was like, what the? So it happened twice. So now I kept my son had been like, hey man, that dude, right? And I was like, okay, so because I live by a school, so there's always kids, walking or a dog or something, and it's always going off. So I was like, I'm not paying attention to it, depending on the time, whatever time it was. So I missed them twice, that guy when he came to the house and went in the backyard. Only now I was on it, and yeah,
Right.
sure enough, I caught him. I caught him, man. I caught him, and it was one of those.
Well, what was he trying to do again? He was taking avocados.
Yeah, he was going into my
See,
yard, man.
that's the thing. There's a standard already because avocados are expensive.
Well,
So he thought I could take him from Fred's place already abusing his authority. He thought
Yeah.
he could take him without any voice being said. So when we have a voice, I think it's very important, women and men. Hey, you have a voice, say something, explain yourself, because how you expect them to know if you have your mouth shut? Even the Bible says to open your mouth.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he even came the last time though. He came with a shopping cart. It was like he actually came with. I was like, what the
That's what
heck?
happens. That extreme, because most likely he's taking them so he could sound down the block.
No, yeah, no, that's what he was doing. And it was one of those, it was funny though. It was kind of funny though because he was looking down. He was looking down, and he turned around, and I'm standing right there. And it was
Yeah.
like the opening scene, one of the first opening scene. With the
Could be a movie.
of Boulevard Night. Remember Boulevard Night?
Oh, yeah.
What you doing? What the
I took it fruit too. I ain't gonna lie, I took it fruit too, but it was lemon. But still, I took it fruit before. I'm guilty.
Yeah, same.
It was for my ceviche. It was for my chele. It was good for a good cause.
Okay, right.
I started laughing because that's what it reminded me of, because that's what I needed to kind of calm me down. Oh, but I still ripped him a new one, dude. Oh, I ripped him a new one. And I told him, I want you to get out of here, bro. Don't ever come back, dude.
Mhm.
It's a lot, so I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, man, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, people do that, and it's true. I mean, I had that experience as a child. We're talking about taking fruit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, we lived on some property that my grandfather worked the land for the guy that owned this property, right? And there were strawberry fields, and we were back there walking, and as a kid, I started picking some of the strawberries to eat them.
Yeah.
And the old man that owned that property, he started pew-pewing at the no joke.
He started to be like a Fred, huh? I'm just playing.
Hey, he took it,
Yeah, I was just
he took
crazy.
it to the extreme. And my grandfather obviously had to go talk to him and be like, hey, that's my granddaughter. He made me give it back. I didn't realize, I was real young. That's okay.
It's crazy.
That's
It's crazy.
somebody's property. Yeah, he went to the extreme.
It's always substantial stuff. The little
But-
things. It's always the little things that turn
Yeah.
into a big thing. And,
Yeah.
the little things always turn to a big thing. Like,
that could have
Wow.
ended very bad. But it goes to show, like, people who, that man probably worked that land and made it to what it was and thought, nobody's going to take that from me. But
because you
And
don't
just like
understand people's
your
their
avocado
tendencies
tree.
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, an avocado tree takes what, like 7 years to even start producing fruit? And
You know,
it belongs to someone. Yeah, you got to ask. You can't just swoop up with a shopping cart.
that avocado tree was there forever. My mom was still around, God rest her soul. And Stephen told me, "Man, put a nail in it. Like here's a big old nail." And I put the nail like in the bottom. Now the thing's way up high. And she passed in 2011. It still never gave us fruit. Never gave us fruit
Really?
until 2016.
Okay.
Until
Wow.
2016, and they had been there since like the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of labor behind that too. You got to monitor, take care of it. Some people get really respectful towards it. They do a lot of work. They do a lot of work towards it. They got to take care of oranges. They got to take care of this. So if you're laboring towards it and then you're just going to take it, it's just like, nah, you ain't taking my money like that.
Yeah, man. And then, you know what? I don't mind, man. I'm not a greedy guy. They gave us it doesn't have hardly anything anymore. There's nothing there. But I've got a lot of them out of there,
Yeah.
And I don't mind. But dude, knock on
Right.
my door, bro. Knock on my door.
Right.
Say, hey, I had the
Right.
one that came and he gave me some money. He goes, hey, man, can you let me pick that? I said, go for it. And he gave me some money. I was like, what the heck, for real? Go for it, dude.
I would have done the same. I love avocados. I told
Yeah,
you.
and that's true though. That's why I like the spiritual aspects. A lot of aspects, like asking you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knock and the door shall be open. Like I'm not here to close the door on you. Like, be simple about it, just be respectful, but asking, hey, I'll give it to you. Like, it's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's right.
no, yeah.
That's
But
right.
also be careful who you open your door to, man, because there's people that
That's
do
true
not have
too.
good intentions for you. You
Right
know,
now,
and
right now, we live in that crazy world right now. So be careful.
it's,
That's true.
yeah,
I know that's true. Speaking of
I
the crazy world, what is the latest, Fred? With I saw there were some updates on the whole Diddy trial. What did
oh
we
yeah,
miss?
he got life. No, not for real. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No,
Oh, I'm like,
no,
what?
no you know what? They're still deliberating. Is that what's called? They're still waiting on that because they got him on 2 counts of edge trafficking,
Okay.
and then they have him on what is it? Man Act, the Man Act
Who
of
we talking? We're talking about Puff Daddy.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they did
The Man
something
Act,
like that today. They postponed it, huh? It's crazy.
yeah,
Happy
yeah,
4th of July, everybody! But they said they were gonna do it after the weekend,
Yeah.
the 4th of July weekend. So celebrating early.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're hung right now on the conspiracy for racketeering.
Right. So that's what they're stuck on. That's what I thought I had heard. So the jury's like, it sounds like behind the scenes, they're kind of struggling with settling
Yeah,
on
it's like yeah.
maybe
It's
like
just
maybe a
like if
split,
you're guilty, you're guilty. It's just that's it. I'm sorry. There's just a lot of things that happen that you conspired that we can't take away that they already
Yeah,
shed out. When
yeah,
he physically disrespected his wife on camera or a girlfriend, that shows the caliber for me to be judgmental. Like, hey,
no, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he
that
did
makes
You
it.
know,
I think that he is guilty. The way,
yeah.
because why would you hit a woman or knowing that there's a camera, all that you displayed it, then you're mad because it's all over the world. Then you paid the guy in the hotel. Like
Yeah.
there's just so much stuff to say. Like, nah, that's not true. Like there's so much
yeah,
influence and information about that. Like, hey, he's done it. So it's not hard for me to be like, hey, he's done it. I'm not being judgmental. I don't like to judge. But if you have
Mhm.
so much evidence towards it, like the truth is the truth and a lie is a lie.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The thing about that too though is that I don't mean either he didn't remember or he didn't care that there was a camera in the hotel.
I
He
think
said
he
he was
got
by
so
awake.
caught. Yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah,
got so used to being able to buy people. Like he lost all sense of reality. You know what I mean?
And there's still a
He
lot of
felt
conspiracy. There's still a lot of conspiracy. The Tupac and all that. There's what
there's
happened. The
a lot of
Biggie.
that
There's a
stuff.
lot of conspiracies to stuff that leads to him and to whoever hung out with him. The Justin Bieber, the other rapper, like he had relationships, and like, is that all true too? Like, it's just
yeah.
crazy right there. It's just
Yeah, see, there's a lot of things. I think I don't know, man. While they say on the conspiracy to racketeering, he can face life. He can face life on those two, just on those
wow.
charges right there.
That's
Well,
So
those
I
wild,
are some
right?
heavy charges to be acquitted for it too.
yeah,
To be convicted of,
no,
those are some heavy charges. With
Yes.
I ain't using baby oil no more. I'm just
no,
Hey,
you,
you
you
know what?
know,
For real, that like scarred my mind to even like that used to be a product that you could. The smell of it was so
I used to use
like
it back in the 90s
powdery.
for my haircut. It's true for my hair.
Yeah,
That's true.
but now forget it. I don't even want to look at it when I go in CVS.
Oh,
no, man, it's just,
Yeah, Didi, that's
but that's
true.
what I'm saying. The influence, you see what
Heard
somebody
that.
could do with their caliber of who they are and what they are. They could go to somebody, I don't even want to buy that product because of the way they used it, they drank it, they ate it, they used it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That's the way the world is right now. There's a lot of judgmental basis. You have to be in some stage of
yeah,
judging, because if you don't, especially when the truth's being revealed to you, there's an accusation. P Diddy's going to jail. Like, like, hey, I don't want to use that for this. I don't need that. To go that like that.
yeah, exactly. And you know what, Didi just pointed out. Yeah, one of the juror number 25, I think,
yeah,
was not, complying to, either he or she was hard on conviction or on innocence. What they didn't really say
like
what it
being
was, but
kind of
um,
uncooperative and saying basically they were gonna do what they wanted to do. And I
yeah,
saw
And it's
right
yeah,
kind of
before.
hard, and it's kind of hard too, because don't they have most of the jurisdiction? All the guys, they're men.
I
there's
think it's
They're
men.
more
men.
I
American.
think there's a little more men
Uh,
than
of the guys, the people who are going to judge.
Yeah,
We call them.
primarily men.
Yeah,
And
they're
the
they're, they're men.
yeah, the juror that they're having
Yeah, the
issue with,
jurors. They're
what
they
if
they're,
the
they're
lady
mostly
said
men.
the lives outside the courtroom, she said it was a man. Number 25 is the man, and I guess he's like he's well educated. He's like a scientist, some type of scientist or something. And basically, she said she felt like his, you can kind of pick up on people's how they carry themselves and stuff. She felt like he was the type of person that was putting off the
Yeah.
energy. Like, I'm not gonna let nobody
Yeah.
tell me how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Light also shows, yeah, what's done in the dark comes to light. I believe that.
Pretty much. And it's still shocking to me because who it was is P. Diddy, Bad Boy Records. I listened to him. I'm guilty. I love P. Diddy and Biggie back in the days, man. I used to live with him growing up in the 90s. Respectfully, and to see him now where he's going through it just made, damn, dog, you did all that? Like,
Yeah.
man, I can't believe he did that. It makes me be like, man, go to jail. You need to go to jail. It makes me feel like I didn't support that when I listened to your music back then. Why are you doing that now?
Yeah.
But like Jen says, whatever's in darkness will come on to light. That's the way life is.
Turned out to be more gangster than Suge Knight. Turned out to be more gangster than Suge Knight. But you know what? The difference with the power, man. They think they have this power to be able to get away with that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, like.
And I believe sometimes, the people who are up there, that they allow certain things to happen for a certain reason. He should have knew that. Hey, when they told him, like, I believe somebody whispered something in his ear. He took the concept of it, and now he's being charged for it. Like, what the heck? It should have been somebody else. Like, I believe what's the name of it? Owned the island, Epstein. Like, look at, they say he killed himself. Maybe he was gonna say something. Everybody says he was gonna say something too. Like, you don't know who's really behind these things and these thoughts, man.
Yeah.
Like, like what's really going on. That's why I look at, like, what they say what you gotta say, to do what you gotta do. You can look at it as a rap version or something like that, but you don't know. I want to know who's behind it too. Like, who's really behind it.
Right.
That's
You never
where I come.
really know. And I think that's true. Like people in power that, have had their hand in the cookie jar to say, I think they start tripping out and wondering, okay, how much is this person going to talk? Like, what are they going to say to try and lighten their sentence, or how much are they going to give up? And
I mean, it's not to judge, but man, I don't want to be no Joe. Don't judge me either if I play one of his songs. You know what I mean? Because everybody's out there. Oh, you listen to his songs? Why? Like, what the heck? Why?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in this. Like, shoot, like my bad.
I noticed that, right? So I noticed that, like, sometimes when like an R. Kelly song will come on, for a split second, like I'll catch myself vibing to it, and I'm like, no, I can't.
I can't. Like,
you know what I mean?
Oh, go ahead.
It's just it's an awkward moment when you realize, like,
Yeah, my thing is, guys, and allow me to play advocate here. At the end of the day, okay, yeah, because we understand where the intentions were, or maybe why that song was written. Like, okay, like there's an artist. Who, at first, I would listen to the songs and be like, oh wow, this is cool. Like I like the music,
Mm-hmm.
And then, he's talking to a female or whatnot, and it's like really, romantic or about relationships and all this stuff, right? Well, turns out this artist ended up being liking men, and then it gets, even though I like the song, now it gives me a different vibe. Like, wait, for like a female, like so I understand that part. I understand that part. What I'm getting at is,
that's right, Dirk.
Is good music? I mean, at the end of the day, is good music, or do we just kind of like disregard it because of who the person is? Like, I mean, if we look at it, a lot of.
I mean, that's what it is right now. A lot of that. Look, a lot of rappers are all dying and killing each other. Like, that's like it's not. We're not doing that anymore. Like, there's been a lot of. I thought you would have learned from that, but a lot of people have not learned that what they're doing is repeating it in society. And a lot of people, they repeat what's not going right. They repeat what they're doing a lot of times. It could be in relationships. It could be as we grow up, kids. You're still like this. You're still like this. Nobody has taught you. Like what? Like some of us, they have to be realized.
No, but it's transitioned. It's transitioned onto YouTube now, and onto social media now, because sometimes, unfortunately, these platforms are used as a weapon towards another individual because well, you know what, I think so and so you this and this and this and that. Like, bro, like the way I look at it, if you've never met the person in your life, whatever the situation is, whether they are guilty, not guilty, whatever the situation, it's none of your business, bro. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody's chasing that clout, they're chasing that clout to try to, just to try to come up on something, man, and it becomes an issue. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes an issue with a lot of
More of a
people.
heartache, you know. Me, I like to know. That's why I put myself, something's going on. Like I'll put my two front feet in there, even if it don't display me because I don't want it coming near me, so I have to display it. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're going through your stuff. I don't want nothing to deal with that. Don't bring that shit over here. My bad. My bad.
Yeah,
No,
that's
yeah,
important, right? Because like Gasman said right here, just
yeah,
to chime in on it, he says, I will add though, don't just take Diddy down. Take all those who cooperated with him as well. Like he
Pretty
had a
much. I
lot of
believe there's a lot of
people
people.
helping him do what he did. And when
Pretty
it comes
much.
to stuff like that, there's a lot of hands that were involved,
yeah.
you
Pretty
know?
much.
You look at Death Row Records. They got Suge Knight, right? They did all this stuff. Well, Suge Knight's not in there for that reason, but before that,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and for all this other stuff, right? But you also, I mean, if you understand how it went, right? But you also had Jimmy Iovine, who did the distribution and also made money off of that. You also made money off this stuff, bro. Like they should have
That's
taken
what it is.
everybody down,
That's
but
what
they
it is. That's what it is.
like,
That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying.
let,
Money to benefit from it. People benefit
yeah,
from other people disregardly. They don't come full through the front door. A lot of people come through the back door.
yeah,
And sometimes us people, we got to recognize that. That's why you got to be on your toes. You got to be in your Bible. You got to be praying. That's how I do it, so I could see it coming. Like, I don't despair that, See, I recognize
exactly.
evil from far away. There's a lot of things we ain't going to recognize. Death is one of them. One of them. Like, wow, a lot of my family members have been passing, but I've been realizing they've been passing of an older age. We're all going to die one of these days.
Yeah,
All of us. If we don't die at a young age, we die at an elderly age, right? I think
yeah,
mine and Love Grace, our job is as elderly. And when I die, I want to make sure that my family's okay, which is my daughter. I want to make sure she's stable, she's going to school. We're
Yeah.
supposed to leave that positive influence. Don't leave that negative. Like, don't be like your dad. Don't be like be
yeah,
opposite. And that's what
yeah,
we're trying to do. Then I could die. Then I could go and live peacefully. Introduce her to the high king out there. He's your real father. He's your real husband. He's your real person. And manifest the real good things. Because when I'm manifesting real good things, a lot of positive things happening to me. When you manifest evil things will come to you, man. Trust me.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's true, man. But again, like we said in the beginning, it's got to be genuine. It's got to come from your heart. It can't come from
Has
from
to.
the mind. Or like, oh, it actually is. It'll come back to me. Like, no, you can't think that way. It's got to be genuine without even thinking.
That's what the Bible says, huh? Use your heart more than your mind.
Yeah. Something that I can't remember. I need to look it up, the scripture exactly, but your heart can deceive you,
Yeah.
We got to be
Yeah.
careful with them.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's just like you know what, and then like going back to everything else, like we're talking about the Diddy thing with the cameras and stuff, especially even in today's world. That was what in the when was that thing of the 2000s, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we're early in the 2000s, right? When he did that, the Cassie in the hotel, or was it
Yeah, I think it
2010
was.
or something like that, 9 or something like that? No, it was way before that. No.
I don't
What's
know for
shocking me the
sure.
most is that he paid the individual a certain amount of money. Everybody's just trying to capitalize, pay me.
Yeah.
Like you can't buy yourself out of that. You can't buy yourself out of the truth. Like
Even
nah.
the engineers should go down for that. You took money.
He went over there. That's what I'm saying. That's why people are judging him easily because of what he's done, and that's what he did. So that's what he represents. You can't say, "Oh, he's not like that," but you got a video showing that the type of person he is. Like, damn, you need a video for that. Like, so it makes it like, oh, is he guilty? Not guilty? That's where people are coming in with their point of view. Like, yeah, he is guilty because he's done this, he's done that. I believe, not to say nothing bad, but did he kind of do it? I believe he did, because it shows his
Yeah,
exampleship. He did what he did, and it's wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, even the guy taking the was it like $50,000 for that tape or whatnot, he should go down too as well. Because I mean, look at it this way: we have something going on. If we're doing something illegal here, and let's just hypothetically say we're breaking it amongst us three right here,
Mhm.
and I bring you in on the mix, and I'm doing this and this and that. Okay, but at the end of the day, if you're taking money from that and you're living off of that, hey, we're all just as guilty at the end of the day. You know, if you're
Pretty
taking
much,
from that,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
Pretty
that's what
much.
it is. You
Pretty
know,
much. It's just like playing a song, you know. It's like, hey,
yeah,
bumping it. I'm pretty much guilty of it, you know.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know.
that's,
I feel like not. I don't know. I do know. I personally in that situation, I can see how somebody the temptation would be there, especially somebody who has nothing. Somebody offers you 50 grand to keep your mouth shut, but I could not personally, I don't want that on my hands. I could not sleep at night. And after
yeah,
witnessing something like that, even watching it, via like through the internet and on TV, that was
Yeah.
jarring to see how brutal that was. It wasn't just a
Pretty
little
much
slap.
to me, how everything just started. You know, when they started mentioning Diddy did this, he did that, he did this. I was like, what? I can't even. I listened to his me. I just listened to his song the other day. Like, oh, then he did this, then he did that, then he did this. I'm like, oh my god, man. Because
Yeah.
most of us have heard his music, you know, and now
yeah,
it's kind of like, now you're gonna hear that he might go to jail forever. Like, what the freak? It's a reality.
no,
Like,
right.
man, it's just crazy right now. It's just
You
crazy.
know, a friend of mine today ironically brought up something to me, and I had a situation happen that I went through a drive-through, right? And got to the first window and there was nothing, you know. It was like, what the heck? Like, nobody was there, you know. Pulled up to the next one, to the second window. They handed the drink, and then they start handing the food. And I said, hey, hold up. I go, I didn't pay for that, you know. And they were like, what? And they were like, no, I didn't pay for it yet. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, I haven't paid for it. And then they checked. It turned out the car in front of me ended up not paying and took off.
Wow.
Oh.
Not all the money in the world, you know, but I am not going to do something like that. It seems easy, right? But I told a friend of mine that story today, as a matter of a few hours ago, and this didn't even come out. I mean, it didn't come out of my mind to say, "Oh, well, if I do a good deed today, it's good." Like, no. The first thing
Yeah.
was that my life is what it is. I can't afford anything negative, as Big B saying, right? I said, no, I want to do things. I'm in line for a reason. I have the money for it, so I'm not gonna just take off.
Yeah.
But my friend brought up a very good point today. He goes, "Hey, bro," he goes, "Oh man," he goes, "that was good, bro. Especially right now, there's cameras everywhere." And I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Imagine they were like, "Oh, we caught the guy," and the mugshot right there, like, "Oh, no wonder he probably does it all the time."
Right.
Because, like you said, they have cameras everywhere, bro. Me and Love Grace, the wifey, we just came back from Laughlin. There was a
Right.
guy, because you go up to your room, they tell you, oh, you can go in this room. There was a guy in the elevator. He had a gun and everything, and everybody thought he was ICE. And I was like, what the hell are these type of people doing here? Right away,
Yeah.
like I took my whole safety away. Like, I want to come back to this. Like, they're doing that over here. Like, all it takes is something stupid, but a lot of
Yeah.
stupidity comes from within us. People
Yeah.
don't realize that. Where stupidity come from? From you. You came from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Like, man, you did this. That's why I reacted towards that. I
Yeah.
defend myself just like anybody. A lot of
Right.
stupidity comes within us. A lot of times we do stupid things. I do stupid things all the time. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all do, right?
right.
We're human, man. We're all human. People
That's
say,
it. That's it. Like, where's the forgiveness at? Where's the love at? Hey, you forgive me? All right, all right. We could talk about it. Support.
yeah,
And you don't gotta be negative about it like that. Yeah, that's your favorite color. All right, that's your color. My bad. Like, cool.
yeah, no, yeah. I let people say, did you ever do this and this and that?
I mean, you
And
see
I
that.
did,
I mean, you see that at baseball games, right? Dodger fan could go to San Francisco up north and get beat up real bad. Like, for what? Just because he's a Dodger
No,
fan?
no, yeah,
Like, you're
yeah,
gonna put him in the hospital knowing that he has a wife, probably most likely he has a family, a daughter, kid. Like, you're gonna put him like that.
yeah,
You rather see him down than see him up. Like, I don't mess with people like that. Like, nah.
Yeah.
You know what? I happen to be a Dodger fan. I went to a game at Candlestick actually back in the
LA,
day.
LA, all the way. My bad, my bad.
No, no, Dodgers, go Dodgers. And I went over there and I had my Dodger hat and I went over to the game. Big mistake, dude. It was, I mean, it was nothing bad for those of us because there was a couple of us like co-workers and stuff, and nobody was on that tip. We don't ban or anything like that. We're just regular guys, co-workers. We got together and went, and there was like two Giant fans and two Dodger fans. There was a friend of mine and I, and we were all cool with talking trash, all the way up there, all the way back, all that stuff. But man, just trying to leave from there, man, the looks we got from people, I was like, hey, dude, relax, bro. Relax.
Yeah.
Automatically.
It's a lot of times it's even what people say and all that stuff. Look at the woman, the councilwoman over here. She's calling out the gangs to support like what's happening. Like, why would you call gang members out? Like, like gang members are gonna come out and be activists for that, really fight for this. They don't want to go to jail forever because of you. Are you gonna give them money to take care of them? Like, come on, what's your reason calling out? There's no reason for that. And that's what I'm saying. Somebody that you think that's what I'm saying. Somebody that you think is positive, somebody that has a big high caliber of where they're at. She had a lot of high caliber. She might lose her job because of it. She gets sued. She go to jail herself. Is it gonna be bad because she's going to jail? Well, it might be because look what she said. She's calling out gang members to come out of their comfort zone and do what they want to do. You're starting something that you're not even going to be involved yourself.
That was wild, right? She was, I don't know exactly her title, if she was a mayor or some kind of, she was in some position of power, right? And
I think she was a city councilwoman.
Okay.
Yeah, she's representing the city.
On a video, like, was it her own?
Like, you don't think nobody, right now the laws, they're really intensive. They're paying attention to what's going on. Like, hello. They got bombs on Baghdad right now. Like,
and people instigate stuff that way. They instigate because it's like she can go on there and say, "Hey, where are you all at? Whatever." And then something happens, and she says, "Hey, I never said for them to do it." I mean,
it's not like a gang member from over there's gonna go out and kill a cop or ice them, and then you're gonna take care of them forever. They don't work like that.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, at the end of the day, too, like people always want to, it's one thing to say things on social media, or instigate and throw trash at the screen. It's like, hey man, I want to be able to go to the store and I want to be able to go wherever and not worry about it.
Say something now. Say I was there helping out the ICE member. Like, hey, this guy didn't get arrested because I got beat up because of him. I'd rather hear something out than, hey, all the gang members, where you at? Like, what the hell? At first I was like, who's this? You know what I mean? Then I was like, a woman from where? From what city? I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, she's talking like a gang member. She's from nowhere herself. Like, don't call me out.
You could tell, like, she said that with conviction. Like, she really meant it. Like, she was calling them out. That's wild.
Crazy. That is wild, man. But that's what's happening right now. You got unconventional, situations where things are just, people are opposing themselves in how they feel because it's what's happening is it's a big thing that's taking place. And, California is getting attacked. People are getting attacked. People don't really, take that lightly. They take that as like, wow, we fought already for this for many of years and you're barely dealing with this right now. Come on.
Well, and that's the difference. Some people don't agree with that, with what I said, but I say, we tend to look at things as in this situation. Oh, we look at ICE and the police department as, they're the enemies, they're the enemies. But man, they have a family to go home to as well. Why would you want to even hurt them for that matter, dude?
Yeah. That's where I had the problem. That's where I had the problem. They're going to schools and
that's where they're to maintain the peace. Like, hey, bro, like, come on, bro, don't do that. We don't want to do all this stuff. I'm just here to, basically, I'm a armed security in a sense, bro. Just so things don't get out of hand. Just don't get out of hand, But
right. And you would think that things wouldn't get out of hand because these are professionals that are taking place. Like they said, they've been schooled. And what's crazy though too about the other side, like I said, I'm kind of like, if you're gonna be in this country, do what you got to come over here and take care of your business. Fight for your citizenship. I know two brothers that fought for the city. Now they're American citizens. They got their passport and everything. So it's kind of hard for me to judge that those ain't working for you. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that have. What about the ones that have knocked it out, did their hardship? They got support. Yeah, they knew people, but don't be mad at because you know somebody that knows somebody. That's your hustle. You know, that's who you are. You know, these two brothers, they got their citizenship. So for me, it's kind of hard to be judgmental, like, you know, and the other people that don't have, they're like, hey, why don't you? How come you don't have it? You come to the state, you know, this country thinking that nothing's gonna happen. Right away, you know it's gonna happen. And I trip out, like, you know, and like who's coming over? You got Chinese immigrants, like, you know, it's happening. Like, all these people are coming from everywhere, man. It's just like sources. They want to do this. They want like, man, it's crazy right now.
You know, and my take always on my channel, what I try to do is not, because I have my own opinion, you know, but what I try to bring across is basically meet you in the middle, you know, and then you
Pretty
decide,
much, you know,
you know,
that's what it should be.
it sometimes it's like, oh, well, you know, you're scared to take a stand. It's like, no, bro.
Nah, like what did you do? Like,
people.
you're here now. What did you do? Like, what did you do? Oh, I
Yeah,
just stood here like
exactly.
everybody else. Don't blame everybody else. Blame yourself. You know.
Yeah, no,
You
yeah,
know. Don't blame
exactly.
anybody.
That's what I'm saying. It goes back to what we talked about earlier. Oh, see, you this and this and that. Yeah, but it comes from somebody that's
I mean,
hiding.
if
You
you're
know, it's
stealing the
like,
avocados, you're stealing them. Don't change the narrative.
yeah, you know, I call, yeah, officer, yeah, can you, get over here fast and bring lots of ice? No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
It's
That's
just a
joking,
conspiracy.
that's
That's
joke,
all.
sorry. That's funny. Anyways, no, but you know what, dude? I mean, at the end of the day, I think, you know, people are really emotional with a lot of stuff with that right now. It's emotional. No matter what we say, whether you say one thing or another, it's never going to be right to somebody. And it's just bottom line. That's just bottom line. You know.
You know, why would you bring a concept like this right now, knowing that this country is going through a turmoil? Then after, and then because what it does is it brings exampleship. Not every other country that's been feeling it, they get to live up to those standards. Right? I could put a border wall too. Who needs a border wall? You know, look at Israel. They just got attacked last October. There, right?
Yeah.
All they got bombed, and like, you haven't put a wall up yet. Like, you know, sometimes the wall don't we put up personal walls? Like, oh, I'm angry, so I'm gonna put up a wall. I mean, you can't be putting up stuff and knowing that, hey, you're involved in it too. You put up walls yourself, you know. So
Yeah.
personal walls are worse.
My compadre across the street, he called me one day. He says, "Hey, man," he goes, "Did you see outside?" And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Hey, bro," he goes, "ICE is down the street." And I was like, I go, "Shut up, dude." He goes, "No," he goes, "For real." I went outside. I looked. Oh yeah, they were here. They were here, man. They were here. It's not a joke, dude. It's not a
Yeah.
joke. You know, I
This
mean,
is
it's
the
really
part
not a
that
joke.
I find it, you know, I've said many times before, and we're just talking, chopping up. I've said before, I'm not a political person, but we're just talking. This is our community. We can speak, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I find it very intimidating and scary that, like, even what Darlene says right here, there's people in plain clothes with no badge, like faces covered, like as a person, but even as a female, like for me, if somebody came up like that and like snatched you up, my first thing was
Crazy.
like, someone's
Yeah,
kidnapping.
I'm gonna fight
yeah.
back. If I saw
Oh,
it
yeah.
like that, I know I'm fighting. You know, like, hey,
It's a scary thing to think. Like, are these people really who they say they are?
Yeah. I mean,
I know it's a tense situation, and I know I don't know. I just feel like in my mind, I always heard this narrative of people who were going to be swept up were the people who were causing criminal activities and harm and stuff.
Yeah.
And I see it happening to people that there's children involved, and that it pulls on my heartstrings.
that's the part that's hard.
You know what I mean? I can't be
the children involved. That's what's hard. Because we're trained to protect our family, you know. So if you're messing with my children, I'm protect. You got to understand, you know, this whole lifestyle. A lot of us are trained to. We got to take care of our wives. We got to take care of our children. We got to take. So if you see your women being violating the kids who are most vulnerable, then I'm gonna jump in too. Like, you know, if they're screaming, and yelling, and crying, I'm gonna jump in. Like, I ain't happening to you.
You know, there was one incident where they pulled like an audio, and it was actually they pulled the audio, and it was from a movie.
Mhm.
That's the other part too, though. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen and it didn't happen,
Uh-huh.
but that's the other thing too with social media is people it becomes the boy who cried wolf, you know. Then you start saying, okay, well, what do I believe in? What do It's like it's kind of hard to kind of take it that way, or allow something to pull your heartstrings in a sense sometimes because if
Right.
it's sometimes fake like that, it's not cool. I mean,
Yes.
I just think
What's crazy,
it's
what really drives me, what's crazy is that the policy, right? Because he came out and said he was going to do this, and he's doing it now. Everybody voted for him,
Mhm.
So it's not like you don't know. If you know something, don't act surprised. Just know it's going
that
to happen. You
okay.
know,
Great point, bro. Great point. Look, this is not a political statement, right? Just to everybody to ease up on what I'm about to say. Don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. Did and I'm speaking to everybody across the board. Did we not learn from the first election that this guy came in and did exactly what he said he was going to do, right? The
like,
first time. So the second time, right?
yeah,
He said,
true.
I'm going to clean up, I'm going to take out, and I'm going to take some criminals and stuff like that. Okay. He
And
said, all
everybody
right.
voted for him.
But see, okay. So I see people going, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's like, bro, you knew this was going to happen. It happened. It used to happen what in the '70s and so on and so forth. It's not the first time this is happening. People are making it sound like it's the first time this is happening. It's been happening forever. It happened under Obama. It happened under Biden. It happened under everybody.
See,
Oh,
the law says, not to cut you off. The law says after Abraham Lincoln, he's the one that made the law. It was basically if you're born here, like they passed that thing, citizenship and all that. The
yeah,
law was if you back then the blacks, shout out to the blacks, they fought for it in the war. If you fought in the war, then you were American citizen. So you
the
got to know the
Magna
laws.
Carta.
There's yeah, that's what it
Magna
was.
Carta. Yeah,
If you fought for this country and you lived through it, you're a citizen automatically.
Mhm.
yeah,
That was look how far that goes back. Abraham Lincoln. That goes back like years,
yeah.
generations. So he's been fighting something, trying to bring us something for years. Fighting. So he's like he feels like he's been saying he's the only presidency that's coming out doing this, doing that. He wants his face up here. He wants to be known for something that's not even like very supportive because the first people were here. A lot of us could say are native people. He took the land, he did what he did, but it is what it is. That's just the world repeats itself. We repeat ourselves a lot of times. And
Yeah.
that's what we got to get over. That's why I said bullshit don't matter. My bad.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what? I think also too, like people need to understand too. Though people have come over here. Here's the other side of the coin, as I think Jojo just stated too. Though the thing is, people come over here for opportunities, you
Pretty
know,
much. Yeah.
and also too that's where it becomes the two wrongs don't make a right kind of deal, where it's like, dude, like, wait, you came over here because it's going bad where you're at, and now you're like pretty much burning this flag, doing all that. It's bad. There's good and bad in every direction.
It
There's
is.
no there's no real
What
right
people got to
answer.
understand, this was Mexico. This was Mexico before we lived in
Yeah,
Mexico,
yeah,
and Mexico is one of the only countries that fought against the United States. They don't understand that. Besides
yeah,
the Alamo.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Well, see, they don't talk about the
Mexico
Alamo.
has fought with the United States before, but Mexico got, if you know your history, got sold out by Santana, for
Yeah,
money. Money's the root of
definitely.
all evil, man.
Yeah,
You got to know
Yes.
your history. That's what I'm saying. You got to know what your caliber is, and a lot of it has to do with knowledge, because knowledge is
yeah,
power.
yeah.
So if you're going and say, I know this, I know that, we don't, you got to know what you're saying, know what you're doing. That's why this lady's coming out, calling all the gang members. I'm like, what the heck?
Well, see, again, it goes back to all that, though. Big D, like, let's say, for example, somebody comes and says, "Hey, man, well, you should come, or you should be doing this and that." It's like, wait, whoa, 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 hold up,
Yeah,
bro,
like,
hold up.
no,
It
so
doesn't,
far,
it
hold
doesn't
on,
make you,
homegirl, hold on, hold on.
yeah, but wait a minute, wait. What do you mean? Like, I'm supposed to just jump into this and be on board with this because of, whatever. Like, hey, I like to think for myself first and see, okay, weigh it out, see what's up. That's how people end up getting hurt or worse. Jumping into
And
something.
it's been like that. It's been like that all our lives that I know.
Yeah,
These people
yeah,
get hurt
right.
because
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'll be like, what the
Real
heck?
is real. Real is real, man. That's how I keep it real. You know, real is real. I don't fake it. Hey, if tragedy comes this way, it was meant to come this way because of what you represent, what you did. Don't
Yeah,
act like you did it. It's like the Sean Combs. Don't act like you didn't do it. You did something, homie. Like, hey,
yeah,
you know, here,
Yeah.
here come the
yeah.
consequences. You know, like.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
people are here illegally, you know, and there's a law. You got to understand, there's laws that are made, right? If I and not that I get like that, but if I get caught for drunk driving, most likely I'm going to jail. There's laws, you know, and that's
yeah.
what's happening. You know that this country has laws, and if you're not here legally, then you got to go where you came from. That's where
Yeah,
they have
that,
it. It sucks, you know. Go get your
Yeah.
papers, do what you got to do. You know, follow the standard and the rules. There's just rules. That's it.
that's
You
one
can't
thing
fight
I
the
don't.
rules that are happening now because there's some big rules. You know, they got Supreme Court and this and that. Like you got to be careful.
Well,
You know.
you know what? That's the thing I don't understand. Like, why does it have to be a racial thing to people sometimes? Because think about it, man. If we were to go to somewhere in Europe, Germany, Japan, or somewhere in Asia or whatever, or into Spain, and just be like, hey, well, I'm just gonna live here now. Like, I can just live it. Like, you can't.
That's true.
You
That's
can't.
true because look at those standards. Like, you got free medical, free schooling in Europe, and we don't have that over here. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on with that? We spend but the United States is behind billions and trillions of dollars. You know, we owe this, we owe that. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Why do we owe so much money? Like, I ain't gonna pay for that. And that's why
Yeah.
they're coming out with the rules where our money's going to right now. You know, our money's going here. Like, what the heck? Our money,
Exactly.
you know, teaching Elmo in other countries. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Sesame Street was born in the United States. You know, why am I paying all that money to take it somewhere else? You know, like I don't got time for that.
And
Yeah.
we can't go over there and just set up shop, dude, and stay
They
there.
have their own. They have a lot of places have their own rules and their own technology, their own ways of living, their own custom. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. I would be
It's like,
scared. I would be scared to go. Obviously, I would be scared. I wouldn't for fear of. I would be scared to go to any country and set up shop, like you guys say, and expect something like to be handed to me, given to me.
It's
All that.
hard, man. It's hard. It's hard,
But
especially if you say you're American. Forget it.
it's so hard. Like to watch the. Yes, I respect the laws of the land. I get that. All that. I'm with that. But then there's the situations and the cases that are like, what? This is one of those that doesn't fit the narrative that was supposed to be, what was supposed to be said. Like I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with this. I'm only going to bring it up because I have spoke with his wife and she, gave me permission to speak on it. Some of you guys are familiar with Justin Chung. He is a formerly incarcerated person. He was doing a lot of interviews on YouTube, Instagram, different platforms. He has his own platform. He's involved in a Christian church, and he was following, all the rules. He had an ankle device from ICE on him. He got married recently. His wife is pregnant. So they've kind of been documenting their story, and he's been following, basically going through the loopholes of how to make it right. How he had a petition up where people could sign to try to get the governor to, I forget what they call it, the governor to grant him basically his citizenship after completing all of these positive, processes and things he did. Well, he was at work. He was at work, and I showed up to his job, and they were outside. And I guess they called him on the phone because you can go to his. I'll put his wife and his platform in the description.
Yeah.
You guys could see it better for yourself than I can repeat all of it. They went to his work and told him, "Come outside. We need to check your ankle monitor. It's not working." And he's like, "No, it's working." Like,
I saw.
You know what I mean? Like, I can hear you. I guess they can talk to you through it. Like, it's voice automated somehow, some way. I don't know if it was the end of that same day or a following day. His wife picked him up from work. She had his mother with them as well, and he was in the back seat. They picked him up to go home, and before you know it, they were swarmed at the stop sign, and they basically yanked him out of the back seat. And he's pleading with him. He literally, you guys, he had his ticket on him to South
Oh yeah, I
Korea
think I heard something like that. That's right.
to self-deport already. He had his paperwork all in line. The day, it was like the following day, he was going to get on the plane, self-deport. That way he could start his paperwork and everything from there. So that shows it's happening to all types of people, right? That's I don't know of any personal cases other than this one. I spoke with his wife briefly just through Instagram, and how devastated she was, and asking, is it okay if I mention the story? And then there was one other situation that I knew of personally, only because of my daughter, one of my oldest daughters. She called me one day in tears, and she's like, "Mom, please pray for my friend." And I won't say their names, but grandfather, her 90-year-old grandfather, was swooped up and deported, and he was here since he was like, I don't know, 10 years old. Now, why he didn't have his status, and I don't know how that works, guys. I'm just repeating the story. But make matters worse, he was going through chemo. He has stage 4 cancer. So, his chances of survival are pretty slim now. And I respect the laws of the land. I get it. And then I also have a heart that it feels like it is yanked on and pulled apart by some of these. I feel like this is a conversation we can all, and I love that we're talking. None of us are getting all crazy, and you know what I mean. Everyone's talking in the comments. And
yeah, that's good. It abbreviates opinions. People have a lot of opinions what's taking place right now.
There's nothing to be upset about on that stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about it. If you guys have suggestions or questions, let Jen know respectfully.
Yeah,
no BS.
It's just good for us to talk and get it out too. Like even just speaking.
That's all people want to do. I mean, me and Love and Grace, when we went to Laughlin, that's what everybody was talking about. Like, what the hell? We're in the front of the river. Where you gonna make me a carne asada burrito like this? Like, I don't want to talk about that.
Well, it's in the name itself. Like if you think about it, like even during during the 2020 or whatever, when we were locked down in the sense, and we,
I mean, what was that all about? With the COVID and everything. There's just so much. A lot of times, we wonder like where the signs are. Like, come on, earthquakes are happening. Like even the Bible talks about this. The Bible says it clearly. Like and you're denying it. Then what are you waiting for? The priest of the Catholic? My bad. That joke, that one joke. I was waiting for like. Like this, we might be. I look at it like I might be in a stage of we might see God coming back. We don't know.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And during that time, I entertained myself with Tiger King and 90 Day Fiance. Think about that, 90 Day Fiance. That show, right? It's in the name. It's in the name. They go to another country. You can only be there for 90 days, and you got to come back. So just imagine we say, no, I'm just gonna skip. I'm gonna go on the run, and I'm gonna stay because I'm entitled to be here. Like, dude, like that's not how it works anywhere else. Why do we see it as a racial thing here?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry. I have to put myself out there. I really don't watch TV, guys. But that show right there, that's my jam. Like I watch that show, every little like side show they have of every character. I can tell you all the cheese. Oh, yeah. That one has me sucked in bad.
What's up, family? It's Cheeseman night. It's Cheeseman night.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to everybody in the Cheeseman. Hey, we're just talking Cheeseman right now. Shout out to everybody.
Entertainment, man. That was entertainment for those times that we were just at home,
Right. That's what we're accustomed to. I was raised, grandma was dancing. She'd be bumping the oldies. Like, okay, like, all right, that's cool. Yeah. Now it's just like you can't even play your radio loud, because you don't know who's coming to your door. Like, what the freak? Yeah. You gotta come with something, You gotta come with. You don't know somebody's trying to steal with your avocados. I mean, right now it's crazy, man. Like,
it is a crazy world we live in. That's the truth.
You know what's one of the and I think I'm not saying that we're the only ones in the world that have it. I mean, I know they're all over the place, but right here in particular, for our area being agricultural, right? One of the most racist comments that I've heard, and I'm gonna say it, they say, "Well, who's gonna pick the fields?" And it's one of the most racist things I've heard, you know. But think about this. I mean, I worked at a winery before,
Mhm.
and I saw even during the lockdown thing, I worked for the school, and then I was in the morning, and then at night in the evening I would swing shift. I would work for the winery.
Mhm.
I saw literally it was almost like a horseshoe type of machine that went and it picked all the picks. All you need is one dude on top
Really?
and one on the bottom. That's it. So when
Really?
people say stuff like that, they don't pay attention that if people do not believe this. I keep saying this. I've said it on my own channel. I've said it other words in other places. People think, oh no, it's going to be a long time. Within the next 5 years, I guarantee you, a lot of the people, including the field, is going to be out of a job. Due
Oh,
to, due to,
Yeah, they
due
got the
to
AI. They got the AI. They
yeah.
got everything. Shit.
you
It's
don't even
Like,
need to
scary.
hit a doctor anymore.
there's so much things that are taking place
Yeah.
that are happening. You wonder why things are happening right now. What's happening, like the boats crashing over here, this crashing over here, this like don't
Yeah.
start a war. Like they're up to the COVID. It's just like come on, we got to pay attention to the small things. They're trying to see how many people they could put away and separate. It's like
Yeah.
separation is division, and that's
And,
what's the
and,
bringing right now. There's a lot of
That
division right now.
that
and,
tripped me out because I don't get out a whole lot. Like I do most of my cooking and stuff at home. I have my own little garden. For the most part, I try to keep it in house. What I do.
yeah.
When we went out to lunch, we went to a lunch for Father's Day, and I uploaded a short little a short on YouTube.
Uh,
And I'm no joke, the little robot comes
oh yeah,
around with our food on it. I'm
yeah,
not it my mind was blown. Like I'm thinking,
yeah.
damn, am I that far, removed from what's going on? And my daughter was like, no, like for reals, mom, that's our food. That's what happens. I'm like,
Yeah,
you've got to
yeah.
be kidding me.
No, I
And
had that like back in 2021 or
And I grew up on this
2020.
stuff. I grew up on the Jetsons. Hey, shout out to the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah, right. People
I
do not
forgot
do
about
not
that.
think. People do not think. I have a friend of mine. I'm not going to disclose who he is. I think, and again, I probably said this here already. And he told me this like last year, I think it was, that they shipped out like 250 self-driving semi trucks to a
Self.
certain company. So think about that. 250. That's just the beginning. So when here's my thing. Here's my thing. I believe that a lot of this stuff is simply a distraction. We're focused on it. See, we automatically as human beings we get into right away. We want to blame somebody. We get into this. This is just my opinion, guys. I'm not saying everybody needs to agree with me, right? My thing is that people right away. It's like having a. It's like doing something that like let's say I made a mistake and I'm like, oh, I wish I could just punch punch myself or whatever, and you're like, oh, you have an itch you can't scratch. So your outlet is, oh, I'm blaming so and so for this. You're the one for and this to me, what's happening now is the complete just what a distraction because bigger things are coming and it's going to get worse. I don't mean to sound like pessimistic,
No,
but I'm being honest. It's about to
like
get worse because people people want to blame everybody for somebody for something. Oh no, it was Biden's fault. No, it was Trump's fault. No, it was no. Hey, you know what? Dude? Like, hey, you know what? With everything coming out, think about this. We're gonna be out of jobs. We're gonna be out of jobs. That's just the bottom line. With everything that's coming right now. The AI, I mean,
Crazy. It's
you
crazy
can
right now.
bring
Yeah.
people back. I mean, look at how many years ago was Fast Seven. That they put Paul Wall in there in a film after he passed. They put him in the film using CGI. Think about that. That was whatever amount of years it was. Fast forward to today. Now you can get robots shipped in from Japan for like 10, 12,000 bucks that have the skin feels like an actual human. It's a female robot, which is creepy to me for any man to order one of those. Mine comes in next week. But anyways, no, I'm kidding. So but what I'm saying,
But
like,
but you know what's crazy, Fred, is that not to interrupt you, but the things that they know is taking place, because they're preparing for the future. Like us as humans, we prepare for the future, right? We prepare for tomorrow, we prepare for next week. I
yeah,
prepare for this, I prepare for that. So
yeah,
what they're doing is they're making that preparations to see what they could get away with, and what they could do and what they can't. That's what a
yeah.
lot of our preparation, my preparations are like that. What I could do and what I can't. I could take this, I could take that, or we're gonna take this. Like if I'm going on vacation, I need clothes, so
Yeah,
take
you know
extra
what?
clothes.
A lot of it is, man, that some of it's just gonna be like, hey, this is the way it is, and that's it, man.
Pretty much. That's why they're closing borders and making more borders secure. They're doing more of this. They're doing more of that. They're discriminating against people. They're attacking people. It all comes down to it. They're attacking human beings. We're still fighting for rights. It's happened like 300 years ago. This stuff.
Well, well,
Yeah.
even think about it, and then you get the people that do this. Hey, well, I mean, come on, bro. It can't be all robotic. I mean, dude, I've seen a full functioning McDonald's.
It can. It can. But they have the Terminator. That's what they're emphasized on. Everybody
What,
wants to emphasize on a Terminator. Like a machine's gonna come and fix everything. Like, nah, it ain't gonna
yeah.
happen.
Well, see, the thing about it too, people say, well, you can't have that, bro. There's got to be human interaction. You know how long we were practicing
Because I
anti?
know people, I know people like they have a job like I know my cousin that came over here that got his
Yeah,
citizenship. He's a truck driver, and this guy drives from like hours. Like he don't need to take a break. Like he had a medical situation where he didn't even go to the hospital, but his brother told him to go. Then he found out that he had like a death life experience. Like if he didn't go to the hospital within a certain time, he could have got real sick. It's what you do, what your caliber is, what you're capable
yeah.
of. You know your weaknesses and you know your strengths as
No, yeah,
people,
definitely, definitely.
we gotta come out. If you know your strength, then present it. There's nothing wrong presenting your strength because that's what it's all about. Your knowledge, your
No,
power.
yeah,
The knowledge is power. Your good deeds and all that. When you send
yeah,
a good message, don't send nothing negative.
yeah. And but see, we've been practicing. People say, well, you can't have this and that without human interaction. We've already been practicing that. We don't even know it. What's the first thing? You can go somewhere, go into any restaurant, whether it's fast food, fancy, whatever you want to call it. People sitting at the table, everybody's like this. Everybody's looking down at their phone. There's no human interaction. Oh, I'm gonna get it on the app, bro. I'm gonna order it on the app. And see,
Yeah, you do
we're
see that
already
even with
doing it.
kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The computer raises your kids and all that.
yeah. We're
The
already
PlayStation.
doing it, man. We're doing it already, and people
Yeah,
say,
like why are
"Oh
you
no, it's
arguing?
not
Why are you
different."
arguing if you're doing it? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I look even here, the McDonald's when it first opened up, and this small town out here. It was we didn't even have a McDonald's when they opened it. Oh man, in any McDonald's anywhere in the world now, when you go at the full registers, everybody's like,
Yeah.
well, you go in, there's like three
And
or
what's
two.
crazy that people will pull out their cameras for negativity like right away. Like pull out, what about the positive stuff? Like pull out a camera
Yeah.
for that.
Exactly.
Pull out a camera like when somebody's helping, encouraging, or saying or doing. Let my actions
Exactly.
speak louder. Let my actions speak louder than words. Let me do something
Exactly.
right. It's like, hey, could you record this? If I say I respect you, like
Yeah.
man, but people record BS and it's like too much. I don't keep up with the Kardashians because I'm not one. So.
Well, right now, yeah, I'm not trying to keep up with no Kardashian. I'm not doing children. I know what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
everybody
What
trying to
I'm
keep up with
doing.
the Kardashians. Like, nah, nah.
You know what, brother? I want to tell you something. This that's another problem. That's another problem that has ruined our society, as far as even from the youngest kids to some of the oldest adults.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, you just said it, bro. Things like the Kardashians, social media, everybody believes and feels they're entitled, bro. And you know what?
Nah,
Check this out, bro. I don't have the best in the world of anything, dude, but let me tell you something, bro. I live comfortable and I can sleep at night.
that's
You know,
it. That's
that's
good.
just the bottom line.
I'm thankful every day. When I go to sleep and I'm thankful. I thank God. Like, hey, thank God that my family's still here. I'm together because, like I said, I see a lot of my family members have been passing and out of age, and I have to be realistic. I have to be realistic. I had one tragedy. My cousin died young, and that's what's shocking the hell out of me because I think about how many times I could have died. It's like, hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
It brings a self respect. Like, hey, you could have, would have, but you didn't. Like, okay, so what is my purpose? You got to find what your purpose is in life.
yeah,
Sometimes you could be a vessel. You could be a positive vessel just by showing your truck, homie.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's what it is. That's what it is, bro. And that's
Because
that's
everybody's all into the negativity right now. Everybody's all into the negativity.
yeah,
Yeah, a
bro.
lot of people are.
That's what sells.
Right. And that's why, like, I just steer clear of it because people get, I mean, you're going to hear bits and pieces. And yeah, I do hear bits and pieces. But as far as like the certain platforms that's their thing and that's what they're known for, I can't. You know what I
Like,
mean?
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
some things are just like
Yeah,
a lot of things in my life are just like nah. I just keep it simple.
yeah.
Like nah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, nah, yeah.
You know what?
It's like hey, you need one of these to get to A and B. Okay, so I'll get there. You know, you
Right.
Hey,
need this, you need that. Like I'll make it harder than what it is because when we start doing things, you start making it harder than what it is, and that's what
yeah.
you try not to do.
Well, see, I mean, to sit there
That's what
and
I
wait
try
to
not to
say,
do.
oh, I
Yeah.
need my life to be better. I need my life to be better. It's like, you know what? Well, you're too busy thinking that your life should be better. You're missing out on your own life, dude. Like, you've been,
Pretty much because
enjoy what you have,
people are
dude.
following all this BS. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't they follow something positive? That's
Yeah,
why if you represent positivity, then you'll be a positive in what you do.
Mhm.
That's what everybody's looking at. Like, oh, what kind of this? What kind of that? Like, what do you look at your measurements? You know, like, hey, I measure up to this. I measure up to that. I don't try to do more than what I am or what I can because I have limits myself.
Mhm. You know
yeah,
what? I
no,
was just, you had brought up something about the self-driving semi trucks, right?
yeah,
I can't remember the name of it, but I mean, I know you're a movie buff, Fred. So it was a newer movie because it was on Netflix that I saw it. There was a movie that I watched probably like within the last year that had
uh-huh.
something like that went down in it. It was a whole event that basically I remember like a ship crashed on the shore.
Oh, yeah,
And
I forgot. With Julia Roberts, right?
yes,
Julia
Julia
Roberts was
Roberts
in
was
it?
in it.
Yeah.
And
I
that
She
movie
forgot the name of the film.
tripped
I
me
forgot the name
out.
of the film. It had a real simple name.
What was it?
Yeah, where the internet went off and everybody was going crazy.
Everything went berserk. Yeah. And like,
Yeah, yeah, it was on Netflix a couple of years ago, and I watched it, and the little girl was watching Friends, the show Friends,
yes.
and
Yeah.
then she I forgot the name of the movie. It
Let me
had a
see.
real simple. It was Julia Roberts, so but I remember. See, here was my take because I think Cholo Chuck and I we talked about that one,
Okay.
and
So leave the world behind.
dude, yes, he's the
Guys,
world.
that you should watch it. It's a trip. Like, if you
See,
want to trip out on something that has some things that are really happening
All
or
right,
going on.
everybody. Jeff Montgomery's throwing out a movie. There you go. Let's
hey,
Hey,
watch it.
right?
it's like, hey, but you know what? Yeah, no, but you know what? That is true though, man. That stuff. I mean, the internet shuts off and we go crazy. We
Yeah.
go crazy. It's like taking a kid's phone away, like taking a candy from a baby. It's like,
Yeah.
the world
Yeah.
shuts down.
It's basically what you put in yourself. That's what I'm saying. You know, you represent that. You know, what you put in with yourself. You gotta be careful. Like if I read the Bible and I'll come Bible at you, you know, I'll come
Yeah,
realistic. You know, it's what you put. It's what you put in yourself. That's what
Yeah.
makes you the next day or the day after. You know, well, you're like this or you're like that. Yeah, I'm okay, cool. So people
yeah.
they realize.
And
Yeah.
the thing about it though, I mean, the subliminal that I did see in that movie,
Hmm.
well, there's nothing like having a physical copy or physical things physically that nobody can take from you.
Yeah.
Think about this. Like people say, because I'll still buy, Blu-rays here and there. I don't
Hmm.
buy them as often, but I still buy them. And some people say, man, you still buy Blu-rays, dude? I just stream it. Okay, cool. But you know what the difference is? That they can always take it down. It's not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not yours yet. I have it. I can watch it whenever I want. And mine's
Mhm.
never going to be edited at this point. I mean,
Mhm.
unless I connect it to the internet and they zap it or something. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, uh, there's films that you have now on that you can see on digital platforms, and they edit them because
Mm.
it's offensive or whatnot, or they change the language on it. It's like, man, why can't we just watch the movie the way it was?
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
it's offensive to people now, so they're changing stuff. So I mean, I would like to see Blazing Saddles on TV, but that'll never happen. It'll be like 2 seconds and that's it.
Yeah.
But I mean, and mind you that everybody always brings up that movie Blazing Saddles, right? It's a
Mhm.
comedy for those that don't know. It's like highly racial and everything. It's just everything in it.
I mean,
But when
I
you,
like where we're at right now. I like social media. Like, shout out to Love and Grace, because we get to come out and
Yeah.
express ourselves. We
well,
can say
yes,
like how
yeah,
we feel, or this is our chance to say your opinion. That's what I'm saying. If you have a question or anything, say it out to say in Gemagani, say it on the live, man. Don't be
Yeah.
yeah,
ashamed or doubtful. If you have something to say, let's talk about it. That's what it's all
no,
about right now.
definitely. But
Right.
Express yourself. We have that
my,
song by NWA, huh? Express yourself. Dun, dun.
oh yeah, express yourself.
Yeah.
Express
No,
yourself.
I think
but my point being on the Blazing Saddles thing was that see, that was during a time, man, where people, and we weren't ashamed to look at ourselves and make fun of ourselves sometimes for the dumb things that we as humans did. Now, a lot of people are offended by stuff. It's
Yeah.
just a big
Well,
difference.
what do you think? What do you think if it shouldn't? I mean, if you want things to change, don't we got to change ourselves?
Yeah,
I mean, what we got to change ourselves and how we conduct things and do things. That's
yeah.
it starts by me. It starts by that. Example like, well, he's not like that. Like, okay, that's cool. I won't be
Look,
like that either, or some
look,
sense. We have to look at ourselves because that's what's making this world crazy. Is people's evil doing
mhm.
no,
their
yeah,
narrative, man.
the thing about it too, though, man, is that yeah, we gotta do ourselves, but then there's people that again, it goes back to you just got people who are trolling, who aren't really doing nothing for themselves. They just kind of go in there and they want to nitpick at every little single and just pick every little single thing that you say out of something and turn it into something completely different that
Yeah,
wasn't even the main topic. So it's like it you gotta have thick skin to be on these kind of things. You can't really care about whoever's gonna whatever's gonna happen at that point. You just gotta
Right.
keep moving with it, man. You just
and
gotta
a
keep
lot of
moving.
us, living life, we just go through it, right?
Hey, you know what,
Yeah.
dude? Like,
We
that's
just
what I
go
tell
through it.
people too. People tell me, "Oh, well, this and
That's
that."
what we're doing
You
right
know,
now. We're just going through it. It's in our life.
Going
you
through
know,
the motions. Yeah.
yeah, I get on here. I get on my own channel. I go on Total Truckers. I've been on Mikey's show. I've been in different platforms.
That's good. That's
And I
good,
talk to
man.
different people. But once I turn this off, man, hey, I'm living my own life.
Same.
I'm in a relationship. I spend time with her. Her,
That's
okay,
good.
it's a
That's
female.
good. That's
It's a
good.
female. Just so everybody knows. No, but anyways,
Well, Dee. Thank you,
and
Dee.
it's just thank you, that's what it is.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that's the thing, though, man. That it's a place to come in, express your opinion, and then for people to take whatever they can out of it, bro, that's positive, and take it
Mhm.
and run with
Positive.
it. But they don't, bro. They want to take the negative or turn it into a negative and just get, it's just hectic.
That's what's tough and crazy that people they rather hear about negative. They take the negative like, what's wrong with the positive, bro? Take the positive.
Right.
No,
I
You
no,
can
was
display, you can throw it. They'll want
wondering.
it. Everybody takes the negative. It's crazy.
and
Right.
the difference between before and now, before back in the day, like when we were kids, if the adults were sitting around the table having a conversation and we were kids and jumped in the mix,
Yeah, yeah.
all my mom or dad had to do was just look at me and be like, "Hey,
The
you
look.
knew, get out of here,
The
get out of
look.
here, get
Because
out
those
of here."
things because those measurements were valuable. Having a dinner
Exactly.
time. You have the wifey cooking a nice dinner for her family. We come out, eat a piece of chicken. It brings memories. We talk about stuff. We say things. You never know during those conversations. Somebody come out, I'm having a hard time. Like, oh, I'm glad you shared that with me, with the loved one.
Yeah.
That's why I was taught. Like, hey, I'll share things with my
Oh,
loved one.
yeah. And in today's
Like those
world,
things are disappearing. Like, you gotta walk to school. Like, okay, like
yeah,
there goes my nice dinner. Like,
yeah,
like it's
well,
just
no,
like little. It's just
Yeah.
the little things, that we don't do no more. That we depend on other resources. Like, they got those
exactly.
computers got to go. If I'm
Mhm.
going to Denny's, they gotta put it down. Like, like, hey,
No, yeah,
get,
you know,
like share a little bit. You talk, discuss. Say,
Yeah.
yeah,
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with sharing. Sharing is a good thing because we share experiences. If you went through it, I went through it too. Most likely.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, yeah, no, trust and believe.
Or
I
I
think
want to, like, you know,
that.
if my wife or my daughter, you know, she goes through stuff, I want to be there. Like, I want to go through it too, but in a good manner. Like, I want to help you gain to the next, you know, exampleship. I'm not trying to leave a bad example, like, you know, even though
No,
Right.
it's costing me my
exactly. No,
freedom.
exactly. But
And a lot, and a lot of
sometimes,
people, they come in like all crazy, like, like what the
but,
hell? And
you know,
then they tell you, like, am I okay? Like, am I supposed to lie? Like, what the hell? Like,
hey,
no, you're not. You're not okay.
yeah,
Like, no, you're not.
sometimes, bro, it's like anything. Sometimes, we can't, like you stated too, though, bro. We can't sit around and wait and try to hope that everybody gets it. Some people are just not going to get it, man. And the thing
No.
about it, that if we sit there, we can sit there till we're blue in the face, telling them don't go that way. Sometimes we have to. It's just like raising our own
Yeah,
kids.
that's my life. Don't do this. Don't do that. I still did the negative. Negative things happen. So it's like,
Yeah,
hey. So
it's like
now,
it's
as
like
an
teaching our
adult, I get
kids.
to understand and relate those conversations on my feelings. Like, hey, I've been there, I've done that. That's why a lot of us, I experienced that. You know, I lived in the '90s. I know what's going on. I know what gangs mean. I know
Yeah,
this. I know that. You know, I know what
yeah,
tragic means. I know. Well, how do you know? Because I lived it. Like, what do you mean?
yeah, no, yeah. And it's like the kids sometimes, even our own kids sometimes, when they don't want to listen. Sometimes you gotta let them hit that brick wall. Because
Yeah. So
no
a
matter
lot of
what you
times,
say, they're not going to listen. Dude. You got to let them hit the brick wall. The only thing is, you got to be right there, and be like, hey, when you hit the brick wall, see me, I'm going to do a little bit of a different situation. But my thing
Mhm.
is, hey, you know what? When you hit that brick wall, call me.
yeah.
I'll be here.
Because
I'll
in
be here.
life, when things, well, in life, like, you know, not to cut you off, but in life, when
Yeah,
tragedy happens, aren't we supposed to learn from them?
yeah,
You know, aren't we supposed to
yeah,
learn from this? You know, even though, you know, that we see what's happening right now, we're supposed to be the opposite. If you see something happening, you know, you don't agree with it, then get involved. You do what you got to do, but don't
yeah.
call out the homies. Don't call out the homies and say where's all the homies at?
Right?
Like, you know,
Right?
I'm
Oh my
not,
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm
Yeah.
not here for that. Eh? I'm here for the
No.
respect.
Right?
yeah.
That's
No,
crazy. That's
and
I
crazy.
ain't
And
gonna do
that's
that.
the situation,
we're
though.
gonna
That's the
be
difference.
wrapping it up in a second here, you guys, but this has been a great show. I think we had a lot of
Oh,
great
yeah.
conversations, and we were able to do so with, you know what I mean, a good spirit. Like everybody was able to express
Great vibes,
themselves.
man. Great vibes
And
from both of you guys, man. Thank you for that.
yeah,
Likewise,
You
likewise. I like when I come right here with Jen. You know, we kick
Yeah,
back, we conversate.
yes.
You know,
I
shout
told
out
you
to the
what
round
happened.
table, the homies. Shout out to
Oh,
Sunny
yeah,
and all the homies that can started here, Paul and all them. Like,
That's
you know, like,
right.
hey, you
yeah.
know,
You know what?
respect where it goes.
Them I
That's
got to meet in person when they came up here, man. Good people, man. Good people. Paul,
yes,
Big Joe,
yes. Very
Sunny,
Yeah,
good people.
man. They're good folks, man. Good folks.
Real true
You know,
gentlemen. That's for
yeah.
sure. So
You know,
shout out
man.
to them.
But it was really. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff. I mean, I'm just saying, like, from the moment we opened up in here, it was just great all the way. I felt the energy right away. Everything went really good.
that's good.
We got to
Amen,
do a lot.
amen. But I
So,
prayed for this. I prayed for this night. You
yeah,
know, it'd be a blessing
yeah,
that people understand, not to bring division, not to cause division, but to
Yeah.
understand division. Everything's
yeah,
about here is to understand. We're not
yeah,
about division. We're not about separation. We're about unity and peace. You know, this is what this
yeah,
platform is all about. And thank you, Fred and Jen. You guys have been
Yes.
beautiful. Appreciate you guys. You know, it's been my second
No.
time. I've been on here a few times. You know,
Yeah, and you'll be back. We
no,
love
I'll be
yeah.
having you
back. You
on.
know,
Shout out
I'll be
to
back.
you and
Appreciate that.
Wifey. We love you and love Grace. Much love. You
Yes,
guys
for
will be
sure.
back
No,
on
yeah.
for
Shout
sure.
out to you guys, man. Shout out to everybody out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, shout out to
Definitely.
everybody, man. It's in and out,
Yeah.
you know.
Fred, what do you have coming up this next week? Anything you're dropping or doing on your channel?
You know what? I'll probably drop something tomorrow, real short though, because it's the 4th of July. Nobody's gonna be watching, anything. I'll probably give a shout out for everybody, give a 4th of July kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, I plan to spend time with my loved ones, loved ones,
Good.
loved ones,
Yeah.
and really just enjoy the day. Eat some food,
Yeah.
just kind of like
There you go.
just relax. I mean,
Yeah.
Memories last
That
forever.
sounds
Trust me,
good.
dog.
That
Make those
sounds good.
memories, bro.
hey,
You got to
you
do
know
it
what,
right.
man? It's just like at the end of the day, man. It's about being happy, man. Being happy. Hey,
That's it.
things aren't perfect. Things aren't perfect, man. Do I wish some things were different? I'll just say it like that. Yeah,
Sure.
unfortunately, it's not a reality at this point. And I made a decision where it's like, okay, you look, it's either I'm going to sit and cry about it or I'm going to move forward on with my life.
Yeah.
I have to because who knows how long, and again, I don't mean this in a negative way. Who knows how long we have here?
Right.
Enjoy it, man. Enjoy life.
Enjoy it like it's your last day. I've lost some family
Enjoy your
members,
life.
and
Enjoy your
you know
life.
it's sad. It's
And
sad when it's sad when the family gets together and they say, "Well, how come you haven't came to my house? Wow, when was the last time you invite me, fool?" You know what I
Right.
mean?
no, and you know what? Let's not misunderstand when I say enjoy your life. It doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna go clubbing and I'm gonna go do
No,
this.
no,
And I'm gonna
no.
do that. No. Life itself within oneself, that you bring what you're bringing into your life that you're gonna live with, not
Positive, yeah.
that's here today and gone tomorrow. That's wasting your life. I'm talking
Yeah.
about really living your life and embracing those people around you that are with you, that are part of your life, and appreciating them in the moment. Dude. And really,
That's right. That's for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Right.
That's
That's
what it's
right.
all
What
about.
about you, Big D? What do you guys have going on for this week? You doing anything?
Well, I mean, it is 4th of July in a couple of days, so
Yeah.
happy birthday, America! We're gonna burn our money. actually, when we went to Laughlin, we have a good friend. I brought some fireworks. Big D putting up, doing missions.
All right.
So I'm like,
Forward to
my
it.
bad. Hey,
Be safe. Be
you
safe.
go over there.
Whatever you do.
But happy 4th, happy early 4th of July here. I'll come on live, wherever I'm at, most likely with the uncle or chilling at the lake or the beach somewhere. But happy 4th to everybody. You guys be safe. I know there's a lot of things happening now. Thank you, Jen. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Fred,
Happy
blessings
birthday.
to you. It's good to see you.
Hey,
You guys, God bless you. God bless everybody on the chat. Don't forget to hit the like, the button, and subscribe to the homegirl. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Yes, we
But
appreciate
we're cool right now. We're just on, like I said, we're just getting ready for the 4th. That's it on Friday already.
Okay. Is there anything you want to share about maybe voting for your couples?
Yeah, Love Grace, the wifey, she put out, the beauty. So yeah, I know.
Right.
See, this is it.
All right, I'll share it. I'll share that later.
Share. Thank you guys. Yeah. Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro. There you go.
That's what Denise said. Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro. Shout out to Denise. Man.
Thank you, Denise.
That's right. Well, much love to you guys. Sending my
Thank
love
you.
to all of you.
Thank you.
Fred.
Love to have you guys back. Fred, everyone in the chat, you guys are awesome. Sending everyone a ton of love and blessings. Remember to walk in love and always keep your heart convicted. We will see you guys on the 15th for the next roundtable. God bless.
God bless.
Buenas noches, everyone.